Hello and welcome back to Pass TV. I'm Blaine Barton and I have a special guest here. I got Tim Ford with me now for this great interview. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Welcome
Yourself?
to Pass TV. Doing fantastic.
All
Thank
right.
you. Let's start out with getting to know you a little bit.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been a database administrator for about 14 years now.
Okay.
Interesting, kind of came through the back door through Microsoft Access. Don't hold it against me.
Yeah, no, I'm using it still.
Yeah, and in for the Y2K fix, trying to take a whole bunch of old Access and at least get it to a newer one. And
Okay.
when we made sure that Y2K wasn't an issue, they had to figure out what to do with us. There was three of us. We had one go into Oracle, I went into SQL, and then we had one guy stay into Access. And
Excellent.
here it is 12 years later, and two of us are MVPs. We actually have an Access MVP in the office I see once a year at the MVP Summit. The rest
Fantastic.
of the time, not to do. So
Excellent.
yeah.
So you're in Kalamazoo.
In Kalamazoo, yes. For those that aren't quite sure, it's right there.
That's awesome. Newly elected past board member. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So hard-fought battle, actually. No, it just seemed like it was time. I ran, I believe, back in 2008. Didn't make the cut there. Didn't bring my A game at the time.
All right.
But it seemed like it was time again. Started to consider and map out how things were in my public or my private life, and kids and everything were in a good spot, and I thought it was time to go ahead and just give a little bit more to the community.
Congratulations
Well,
on
thank you.
that.
Thank you
You're
very much.
doing the Sequel Saturday portfolio.
Yes,
Not just
yes.
a Sequel Saturday, Sequel Saturday portfolio. Talk about
well,
that.
I figure I traveled about 5 or 6 of them a year. I put on the first one in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
We're getting ready, as I shamelessly plug, our next Sequel Saturday in Kalamazoo on November 2nd.
Excellent.
And I really believe deeply about that program. It's a good way to get local individuals familiar with PASS,
Right.
get them into then involvement in the local chapters, hopefully, and then
Right.
ultimately, hopefully, get them out here so they can really see the power of what PASS can bring.
Right now, here's before we talk about Quiz Bowl, I'm going to quiz you.
Oh,
Do we
oh,
know
okay.
what number we're on Sequel Saturday? What
Oh,
number? What number
man.
is it, man?
And
Is that a hard question,
Well,
or-
in the talk prep, you said, don't quiz me and don't.
I know, and don't
now
stump
you're-
the chump.
And now you're
I'm
doing it to me.
stumping the
so
chump
I'm
on
the
that.
chump.
I saw one card, and I'm not sure if this is the exact number. Does 276 sound about right, or? Is that,
Yeah, that could be.
Okay.
That sounds about good. I think Kalamazoo is 256.
Okay.
And so the 270 sound good, and it's been great because it took a couple 3 years even to get in the 80s.
right.
And then in the span of 1 year, it ended up doubling and went
Okay.
from, I think Kalamazoo was 84 1 year, and then a year later it was 160.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And it seems like if we can keep that pace, it's good. My concern is a nice steady growth. I don't want to bust at the seams here.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of hard to keep track of all the numbers of Sequel Saturdays. There's so many happening around the world. I talked
Exactly.
to a few folks yesterday. Russia, right? Costa Rica,
Yes.
Venezuela. It's hard to keep up with them all.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think is most exciting is the global growth of PASS as an organization and brand, and Sequel Saturdays in particular.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yep.
Quiz Bowl. No more
Yes.
quizzes.
All right.
Quiz, let's talk
yeah,
about Quiz Bowl.
yeah. You lied before already.
I
so.
know. You're gonna start asking me about store procedures and queries and stuff.
No,
now.
that's okay. It's too early. I'm still on my first coffee.
All right. Yeah, Quiz Bowl.
Yeah.
Welcome reception. Let's talk about that.
So back when I was at my first summit back in 2002, they were doing something a little bit different for getting community members involved, meeting up together, and they would work on a project all week long, and then they would present it as a kind of a lab exercise / contest.
Right.
And in my opinion, it was extremely hard to put together. This was all run by volunteers, a lot of volunteer time. And then you have these individuals that are off segregated from everybody all week long. What I thought would be better to do would be something where we can come in very first night, put on a little game show, get people amped up for the week, and myself and Lewis Davidson, who also was the co-author of my DMV book, we put together this little quiz bowl thing. It's part Jeopardy, without being Jeopardy for legal reasons.
Right.
Pop culture, sequel stuff, a lot of geek stuff thrown in there too as questions go. We get
any access in there? Any access
yes,
questions?
I have had access
Nice.
in there before.
Excellent.
And we will have 8 members from the SQL Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them, the celebrities of SQL, if there are such a thing.
Okay.
And then we bring up one member to join their team from the audience of our participants, and then at the end of the event, whoever has the most points, that person that we picked from the audience gets a great prize.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You had a session too, periodic table.
Yes, so a couple years ago when I was working on the book that I mentioned, I was trying to find a way to organize all the dynamic management objects that we had in SQL. And of all things, I was on Twitter and I had somebody post out the periodic table of swearing.
Okay.
And I thought it was very interesting. It was very British, so half the words didn't seem like they were bad to me, and I didn't even understand half of them. So, but it seemed like a great way to organize something that would work like the periodic table of or the dynamic management object. So did that back for 2008 and 2008 R2, and then I just updated it for 2012, and I use that as a tool to present on the various ways you can use some of the DMVs and DMFs.
That's great. That's great. Hey, congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on being on the board
Thank
for
you.
the SQL Saturday portfolio. We've got Tim Ford here. So thanks for joining us on Past TV.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So we're back. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. That's hashtag, right? Past TV. Once again, this is day 3. We've got Stacia Misner. How you doing? Come on over. Second seat here. Okay. How are we doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So you're a speaker. You've getting some experience out there, and did a couple of sessions. But before we get into that part, take a look behind us. I mean, it's like the networking opportunities and all the people, and we got 56 countries represented. Over 5,000 people here and there.
I know, and it's a SQL family.
It's a SQL family.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
I call it a family reunion.
Yes, it is.
And I'm new to the family.
Okay.
But
well, welcome to the family.
Thank you. It's day 3, and I'm kind of I feel like I'm part of the team. And it's interesting to see. I'm actually being in Florida.
Okay.
We have a pretty strong community in the SQL Server side, so I know a lot of those folks. But when you come here, you start meeting other people like yourself,
and from all over the world.
All over the world, you start seeing really how big the family is.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a business intelligence consultant. I've written a few books, up to 13 now.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And I, obviously show up at events like this. And, for years I was trying to decide if this was my 8th or my 9th. I'm going to have to go back and look at some records to figure that out. I'm not sure. But my very first summit was 2002.
Okay.
And I just think about the difference between then, walking in and going up the escalator, not knowing anybody,
right,
and just kind of doing my thing and leaving, and what a difference now. I can't walk 5 feet without seeing somebody that I know, and it's hi and hugs and everything.
That's awesome.
And it's really sad when it's time to go.
Yeah, and I'm kind of feeling that way too. It's like I want it to continue. Is there a day 4, a day 5?
I know.
And so as we wrap up today and Friday here, and with all of our viewers out there, either good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are, it brings everybody together, right? So you had a couple sessions.
I did.
Yeah.
I had Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, automating your BI framework, and I talked about BIML. It was one of those stealth BIML sessions.
Okay.
Because I didn't mention it until we get into the session itself. But there was a lot of BIML talks this week, so there was many of us who've been not quite sure what to do with this, and then when we really looked at it, several of us BI consultants, when we really looked at it, we thought, wow, this is really cool. So obviously we all had a different spin on it to talk about that. So that was pretty exciting. And then I did yesterday planning your report design, and I got an interesting email this morning from one of the attendees. He says, I thought this was going to be a beginner session, but you really got into some high-level topics.
That's good.
So I guess if you watch the streaming of this, or when we have the DVD or whatever they're doing with the recordings, the recordings, that's what we'll call them.
Yes.
That don't be put off that it's not necessarily 100 level stuff, because I had some great questions, and in fact I ended at 6:15. Attendees that were there till 7 o'clock. They wouldn't let me go.
Right, which is part of the advantage of being here at Past Summit, is to be able to have the networking opportunities, ask questions from the professionals, the people delivering those sessions. I could tell you're passionate about the sessions that you had, and so it's great having you on Past TV. Any last things you want to tell the audience?
Just this is a great community that we're a part of. I've been in technology for a long time, and I've never seen a group of people really unite like this one has. And Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter. because it's
Yeah,
the way we
what's your
stay
hashtag?
connected.
Now's your time. Do a little
Now's
shout
my
out for
time. At Stacia Misner. It's as simple as that.
That's pretty easy.
It
right?
is exactly.
Right?
Well, maybe I should spell it. STACIAMISNER because that's not so easy.
I had to make a note just to pronounce your name correctly. So,
yeah.
But thanks for being on Past TV. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right. Take care. And don't forget to go up on sequelpass.org. You can get all the information. She mentioned those sessions. There's 190 sessions that's delivered on USB that you can purchase up on the website if you were missing some of them, or if you're around the world in different time zones. Great opportunity for getting those sessions. So I think we got some kind of Jedi coming in. Not quite sure. Well, we got a Jedi here, but it's actually Gail Shaw. Welcome to Past TV.
Well, people do say that I'm from a long, long way away.
Yes, you are. Where would that be?
South Africa.
South Africa.
Somewhere.
Okay.
For those who don't know, that's somewhere down the bottom area of Africa, kind of close to Antarctica, in the bottom area of nowhere.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to Joburg down that way, right? So
wow.
Yeah, I've been there. Been to Africa. Went to the safari and all that cool stuff. It was fantastic. But let's get to know you, Gail. Let's talk a little about yourself. Tell us where you're from again. Maybe your experiences and all the way to getting SQL Server MVP, right? Long road. You took a big breath there.
Lots and lots of forum postings. In short,
awesome. Yeah.
I decided probably close on 10 years ago that I wanted to get better at SQL Server. This was what I was doing. And I decided the way to do that was to start answering forum questions.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you get it wrong, someone's going to come and tell you.
Right.
Someone's going to slap you down,
right.
Usually quite harshly. But you can sit and figure things out. Somebody's got a problem, and you can sort of, maybe, possibly this. Someone with more experience comes along and says, no, it's actually that. Okay? So it's that. Fast forward 5 odd years of that, and I'm one of the top posters on SQL Server Central.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And get the MVP mostly based on that with a little bit of my blog.
Okay.
And got tossed into speaking straight after that.
Yeah. Was that awkward or was that?
That was interesting.
Yeah, was it?
The way it worked at the time, TechEd Africa, the Chalk Talks were run by the local MVP program. So that meaning that all of the South African MVPs, all about 8 of us at the time, got to do the Chalk Talks.
Neat.
So I got the, congratulations, you're an MVP. You're speaking at TechEd this year. That's in 2 months.
No pressure there, right?
What? So my first speaking experience was at TechEd Africa.
Okay, gotcha.
Just to talk and talk, not their breakouts, but...
Yeah, right. So where'd you go to school? Where'd you get your experience?
Oh, South Africa.
Yeah.
I've lived there.
Any specific school you want to shout out for, or just you keep that anonymous?
That's
behind you?
History.
Well, you're a SQL MVP. You've probably been doing some SQL Saturdays, right?
SQL Saturdays, Johannesburg, Cape Town.
Good. All right, nice.
Traveling's obviously quite hard. I mean, 8-hour flight gets you to the Middle East.
Right.
And Europe's 10 hours away. US is 24 plus.
Right.
So traveling's a little hard for those. I've done SQL Saturday in Vancouver. It was right before the MVP Summit 1 year, so double trip.
That was convenient to get up there.
I did SQL Saturday Dublin this year. I was in the UK and there was a SQL Saturday, and it's just a short trip.
That's great.
And flights in Europe are so incredibly convenient and easy to get.
Right.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I swear that the train was more expensive than the plane was.
That's crazy.
Welcome to Europe.
What's all this all about? Bring us up to speed on the Jedi stuff, right?
That is some of the MCMs having some fun.
MCMs.
Microsoft Certified Masters.
Okay, and?
Microsoft's,
Masters,
was one of Microsoft's top pinnacle tier certifications until they pulled the plug on it a month and a half ago and really, really pissed off a lot of the MCMs and the MCAs. Microsoft Certified Masters, Microsoft Certified Architects.
Right.
So Microsoft no longer has a top pinnacle tier certification. They're planning something apparently.
Okay, we'll save that for a different time or a different interview.
Some of us were a little bitter about it, and some of us decided to make a little bit of an example of, what we had. And
okay,
there were about 6 of us wandering around yesterday dressed like this.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple actually, and a lot of kilts yesterday on Kilt Day.
Kilt Day.
That was pretty neat. So you had a couple sessions.
I had a couple of sessions.
We'll talk about those.
Everything you need to know about indexing. Well, I didn't actually cover everything because I ran completely out of time. Half-day session, packed. Absolutely packed. I had
standing
people,
room only.
No.
If not, not even.
No standing room.
So
they were turning people away at the door.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Seems to be a commonality of this conference.
Yeah, there's a lot of popular sessions. In fact, a lot of folks, if they can't get in, they can still go to the SQLpass.org and get that, as a USB at 190 sessions if they missed it. But yeah, there's fantastic sessions and standing room only, bringing all the heavy hitters in for all the SQL stuff. You get your questions in there, and so that was great. You had a packed room in there.
I had a packed room for indexing.
Yeah.
Covered a whole bunch of material, had a whole bunch of people coming and saying, I actually understand indexes now.
Right.
Kind of figured it out. So,
see their eyes getting big, they're getting lighted.
I saw the light bulbs going on across the audience.
Awesome. And we're going to be airing one of your sessions here on Pass TV. It's the do's and don'ts of database corruption.
Ooh, fun.
Sounds awesome.
I've done that at multiple SQL Saturdays. It's always a popular session. So that was done live last night. It wasn't quite packed room. I had a few seats open if I looked hard enough. But again, full, essentially.
Excellent.
I mean,
excellent.
It wasn't a case of one person here, two people over there, and three in the corner.
Well, good. It's a pleasure having you on Pass TV. Any last comments?
Not really.
No, you're done.
I think
You're done. Well, let's take a look at your session then. We're going to be moving to Gail Shaw once again. She's going to be delivering the do's and don'ts of database corruption. So with that, we'll take you over there.